My name is Brandon Letsinger, and I'm the founder and executive director for CascadiaNow, 501c3 nonprofit here in the Pacific Northwest. So CascadiaNow works to create a resilient and inclusive bioregional community here in the Pacific Northwest. And so what we mean by that is we really want to create space where every person, every organization, and every community can speak for their own needs and find solidarity and support and come together to really empower each other. And I think that what's really important is we're living in a time of radical change, and where a lot of radical change is really necessary. And we want to bring the ideas and the people who are already out in the communities making that change happen to the forefront, and to be able to spread those messages to the 15 million people who are living here and to the other million people that will be moving here. And we see this as kind of a time pressure sensitive issue where right now is probably the most important time that we can be working together to make that change happen. And we don't need new wheels. We already have so many solutions, so many amazing people already engaged, and we want to create easy pathways to help get people motivated and to really make that change possible, and to make sure that everybody has the tools they need to feel supported in the work that they want to be doing. So CascadiaNow is an organization. We've existed informally for about 10 years. In the past 2 years, finally took the step and became a nonprofit organization. We work as a fiscal sponsorship organization, and that means that we provide a range of services to all sorts of different projects and groups. So something that we're going to really focus on, though, is it really starts with education. And the whole idea of bioregionalism simply says start with the water and start with the watersheds. And so the Cascadia bioregion is made up through the watersheds of the Columbia River through Washington and Oregon, and starting in British Columbia, the Fraser River in British Columbia, and the Snake River extending all the way over to Yellowstone and in through Oregon. And these watersheds together make up this idea of what we call Cascadia. And what's beautiful about that is that when people talk about what we need to be sustainable, what we need to be autonomous or ever independent or interdependent, the conversation has to include the whole watershed. We can never talk about sustainability if we are only talking about Washington or Oregon. That conversation has to include the entire length and the entire extent of the river. And if there's an issue with damming or pollution, we all need to be a part of that dialogue. Within this, we talk about building a new culture that's rooted in these shared values and principles. And so we need to actually kind of start building our own discussion, our own narratives, and building our own systems that are going to be rooted in all of these principles, and then really can help shift us away from a lot of the different structures which are very toxic or negative. And I think that that's really where every person can kind of come in and has such a big impact. And Cascadia is not the solution. It's just what's really exciting is it's an idea and people get to work on it, and it's one of many different ideas that hopefully can be working in a collaborative and supportive model to just help really make the change that is needed actually be able to start to happen. And if we start here with this bioregion, we already have all sorts of different solidarity movements that are spreading out, through coal pipeline protests in North Dakota, through into British Columbia working with indigenous peoples. And all of these communities, when they come together and they start working together, I think is where Cascadia really has its strength and its power. And so when we say grassroots social movement, what does that mean? Wow, it actually means such a cool element that it spreads person to person, and every different person in every different community takes these different parts that are important to them and important to the work that they're doing, and they build on it and they can critique it. And then through this, we get to create a new narrative and a new story rooted in this place.